Welcome in. If you clicked this video because your YouTube views dropped suddenly, quietly, or without warning, you're not alone. Most creators notice it the same way. They open YouTube Studio and the views are down. Yesterday, the video was moving. Today, it looks like YouTube just shut the faucet off. And before anything else loads, the questions start. Did I do something wrong? Did YouTube stop pushing my channel? Did I get shadow banned? This video is here to slow that moment down. Because when views drop overnight, it usually has nothing to do with punishment, bad content, or YouTube turning against you. What you're seeing is how the system is designed to work. And once you understand that, you stop making the mistakes that actually hurt your channel. Why creators panic when views drop? Creators panic when views drop because the drop feels personal. You put time into the video. You uploaded with intention. And when the numbers fall, it feels like rejection. But YouTube does not evaluate videos emotionally. It evaluates behavior. The panic happens because creators expect growth to be linear. Views today, more views tomorrow, and steady momentum after that. That's not how YouTube works. YouTube distributes videos in phases. When a video is first uploaded, YouTube tests it with small groups of viewers. It watches how people react, not how many people react. If engagement slows, impressions shift. If engagement improves, impressions expand. To the creator, that looks like views stopped. But to YouTube, it's simply testing is complete. The panic starts when creators misinterpret that pause as a warning sign. And that's where most damage happens. Because panic leads to impulsive changes, deleting videos, changing titles repeatedly, re-uploading, or assuming the channel is broken. In reality, nothing is wrong. The system is just collecting data. Once you understand why creators panic, the next question becomes more important. What is YouTube actually measuring while your views are slowing down? That's where the real answer lives. YouTube tests videos first. Every video uploaded to YouTube goes through a testing phase, not because YouTube doubts you, not because your channel is new, and not because the content is bad. YouTube tests videos first because it cannot assume who will enjoy a video. It has to learn that from viewer behavior. When you upload, YouTube does not immediately know. Who will click? Who will keep watching? Who will stop watching? Who will engage? Who will ignore it? So instead of pushing the video everywhere, YouTube shows it to small, controlled groups of viewers. These groups are chosen based on past viewing behavior, topic interest, similar videos they've watched before. This is why creators sometimes see an early burst of views. That early activity is not YouTube rewarding the video. It's collecting data. During this test, YouTube watches what happens after the click. Do viewers stay or leave quickly? Do they keep watching or scroll away? Do they interact or ignore the video? If the response is strong, YouTube expands the test to larger groups. If the response weakens, distribution slows or shifts. That slowdown is what creators interpret as views stopped. But from YouTube's perspective, the test simply reached its conclusion. This process protects viewers. YouTube's goal is not to push every video. It's to avoid pushing the wrong video to the wrong people. Testing first reduces bad recommendations and increases long-term viewer satisfaction. That's why view patterns often look uneven, unpredictable, or inconsistent, especially in the first few days. Nothing is broken. The system is learning. Once a video finishes its initial test, the next thing that matters is what YouTube measured during that test. That's where impressions either expand or slow down. And that's what we'll break down next. The initial boost explained. When creators see an early spike in views, they often assume YouTube is rewarding the video. That's not what's happening. What you're seeing is the initial impression boost, part of YouTube's testing process. When a video is first published, YouTube gives it a limited number of impressions to see how viewers respond. This usually happens within the first few hours, sometimes the first day. That early exposure is not a promise of continued growth. It's simply data collection. During this phase, YouTube is asking very specific questions. Do people click when they see this video? Do they stay or leave quickly? Do they continue watching or move on? Do they show signs of interest or indifference? If the signals are strong, YouTube expands distribution. If the signals weaken, impressions slow down. To creators, this looks like, my video was doing well, then YouTube stopped pushing it. But in reality, YouTube never stopped anything. The initial boost ended because the test ended. This is why the first 24 to 48 hours can feel unpredictable. Some videos spike quickly and then flatten. Others start slow and grow steadily over time. Both patterns are normal. The mistake creators make is assuming the boost means success and the slowdown means failure. Neither is true. The boost is not validation. The slowdown is not punishment. They're simply stages in how YouTube evaluates content. Understanding this prevents creators from reacting emotionally and protects long-term performance. Once the initial boost ends, the next thing that matters is what YouTube learned during that test. That comes down to metrics, not views alone. And that's what we'll break down next. Why impressions slow down? When impressions slow down, most creators assume something went wrong. They think YouTube stopped pushing the video. They think the algorithm changed its mind. They think the video failed. That's not what's happening. Impressions slow down because YouTube has learned enough from the test phase to make a decision about distribution. During testing, YouTube compares your video to other available videos competing for the same viewers. If your video performs stronger, impressions expand. If it performs average, impressions stabilize. If it performs weaker, impressions slow down or shift elsewhere. This is not personal. YouTube is not judging effort, consistency, or intent. It's responding to viewer behavior at scale. The main reasons impressions slow down usually fall into 3 categories. First, click behavior. If people see the thumbnail and don't click often enough, YouTube reduces how frequently it shows it. Second, viewing behavior after the click. If viewers leave quickly, skip ahead, or don't finish enough of the video, YouTube learns that the match between viewer and content may be weak. Third, overall satisfaction signals. This includes whether viewers continue watching other videos, return later, or disengage from the platform. When these signals flatten or decline, impressions slow, not because the video is bad, but because YouTube has limited reasons to keep expanding it. This is why impressions don't move in straight lines. They rise, pause, shift, and sometimes return later. A slowdown is not a dead end. It's a decision point in distribution. Creators get into trouble when they treat a slowdown as failure and start making emotional changes instead of strategic ones. Nothing is broken. The system is simply reallocating attention based on what it learned. So if impressions slow down because of what YouTube measured, the real question becomes, which metrics actually decide whether views continue? That's what we'll break down next. Hack metrics YouTube actually cares about. When creators look at analytics, they usually focus on views first, but views are not what YouTube optimizes for. Views are an outcome, not a decision signal. YouTube cares about how viewers behave, not how creators feel about the numbers. At a high level, YouTube evaluates videos using 3 core signal groups, not dozens. Not everything in Studio, just these. Click behavior. The first thing YouTube watches is whether people choose to click. This is where titles and thumbnails matter, but only as an entry point. If people see your video and don't click, YouTube has no reason to keep showing it. A low click-through rate tells YouTube, this video doesn't look relevant to this audience. That doesn't mean the video is bad. It means the match between the viewer and the video is weak. YouTube will try other viewers, but it won't force clicks. Second, viewing behavior after the click. Once someone clicks, YouTube immediately watches what happens next. Do they stay? Do they leave? Do they skip ahead? Do they finish enough of the video? Watch time here is not about total minutes alone. It's about consistency of attention. If viewers click and leave quickly, YouTube learns that expectations were not met. If viewers stay engaged, YouTube learns that the video delivered on its promise. This is why misleading titles hurt long-term growth. They may increase clicks, but they destroy retention. Third, satisfaction signals. This is the metric creators talk about the least, but YouTube values the most. Satisfaction includes whether viewers continue watching other videos, whether they return later, whether they disengage from the platform entirely. YouTube doesn't just ask, did they watch this video? It asks, did this video improve the viewing session? If your video contributes to longer, healthier viewing behavior, YouTube is more likely to recommend it again. This is why some videos grow slowly but steadily over time. They don't spike, they sustain. What YouTube does not care about the way you think. Likes, comments, and shares help, but they are supporting signals, not primary drivers. Subscriber count does not guarantee reach. Consistency alone does not guarantee growth. Effort is not measured. Only behavior is. YouTube's system is not emotional, personal, or reactive. It's comparative and behavioral. Once you understand which metrics YouTube actually evaluates, the final piece becomes clear. What should creators do, and what should they stop touching when views slow down? That's what we'll close with next. Why changing videos can hurt performance. When creators see views slow down, the instinct is to fix something. Change the title, swap the thumbnail, edit the description, re-upload the video. It feels productive, but this is where many creators accidentally hurt their own performance. Once a video has been tested, YouTube has already built a data profile around it. That profile includes who clicked, who watched, how long they stayed, which audiences responded best. When you make major changes after that data is collected, you disrupt the system's understanding of the video. YouTube now has to reassess who this video is for, whether expectations still match behavior, whether past data is still relevant. This often causes distribution to pause or reset, not improve. Another issue is viewer expectation mismatch. If someone saw your video earlier and scrolls past it later with a different title or thumbnail, it creates confusion. That confusion reduces trust, and trust is a core part of recommendation. This is especially damaging when creators change titles repeatedly, swap thumbnails multiple times in a short period, re-upload the same video hoping for a reset. Re-uploads remove all historical data and force YouTube to start from zero, without any guarantee of better results. There are times when changes make sense. Minor adjustments after several days or weeks can help if the data clearly shows poor click behavior. But changing things emotionally, immediately after a slowdown, rarely helps. The algorithm doesn't punish change. It simply loses clarity, and lost clarity means lost momentum. So if changing videos isn't the answer, the final question becomes, what should creators actually do when views drop? That's where strategy replaces panic. And that's what we'll close with next. What to do when views drop? When views drop, the most important thing to do is nothing at first. Not because you don't care, but because reacting too quickly usually creates more problems than it solves. The first step is to pause and observe. Give the system time to finish collecting data. Most slowdowns happen within the normal testing cycle. Instead of changing the video, open your analytics and look at behavior, not views. Start with click behavior. Ask whether people are clicking when they see the video. Then look at retention. Are viewers staying or leaving early? Next, look at the audience breakdown. Is the video reaching new viewers, returning viewers, or both? These patterns tell you far more than the view count ever will. The second step is to avoid destructive changes. Do not delete the video. Do not re-upload it. Do not repeatedly change the title or thumbnail in a short window. Those actions reset clarity and erase useful data. The third step is to shift focus forward, not backward. Instead of fixing the video that slowed down, use what you learned to improve the next one. Ask, did viewers click but leave early? Did the topic attract the wrong audience? Did the promise match the content? This is how channels improve without sabotaging momentum. Finally, understand this. A single video slowing down does not define your channel. YouTube evaluates patterns across multiple uploads, not isolated moments. Creators who grow are not the ones who avoid dips. They're the ones who respond with strategy instead of emotion. When views drop, the system isn't rejecting you. It's giving you information. Once you understand what to do and what to stop doing, view drops stop feeling like failure. They become part of the process. And that's the difference between guessing and building a channel. The biggest mistake creators make. The biggest mistake creators make when views drop is treating a normal system response like a personal failure. They assume the algorithm is reacting to them instead of reacting to data. This mindset shift is where most channels stall. When creators believe something is wrong, they stop thinking strategically. They start chasing fixes instead of understanding signals. They change too much. They change too fast. And they change the wrong things. Instead of asking, what did YouTube learn from this video? They ask, how do I make YouTube push me again? That question leads to panic behavior, deleting videos, re-uploading content, copying trends, or abandoning topics too early. The algorithm doesn't respond to desperation. It responds to clarity and consistency. YouTube needs time to understand who your content is for, what expectations you set, how viewers behave across multiple uploads. When creators constantly reset direction, YouTube never gets that clarity. Another mistake is judging success too early. Creators decide a video failed within hours or days, long before the system has finished learning. Some videos don't grow fast, they grow correctly. They find the right audience slowly and then compound over time. Creators who succeed long-term don't win because every video performs. They win because they let data mature instead of reacting emotionally. The algorithm isn't fragile, but clarity is. And the fastest way to lose clarity is to keep changing direction every time numbers fluctuate. Once creators stop reacting emotionally and start reading behavior, everything changes. Growth becomes measurable, decisions become intentional, and dips stop feeling like failure. That's the difference between guessing and building something that lasts. When YouTube views drop, it's easy to assume something went wrong, but most of the time, nothing did. What you're seeing isn't rejection, it's measurement. YouTube tests videos, observes behavior, and reallocates impressions based on how viewers respond. That process creates spikes, slowdowns, and pauses that look dramatic in studio, but are completely normal in the system. The creators who struggle aren't the ones whose views dip. They're the ones who react emotionally instead of strategically. Once you understand how testing works, how impressions slow, and which metrics actually matter, view drops stop feeling like failure. They become feedback. And feedback is something you can work with. You don't need to chase the algorithm. You don't need to reset your channel. You don't need to panic. You need clarity, consistency, and patience. Not as motivation, but as strategy. YouTube doesn't reward stress. It rewards understandable content matched to the right audience over time. When you focus on behavior instead of numbers, growth stops feeling random and starts making sense. That's how sustainable channels are built. If this helped clarify what you're seeing in your analytics, let me know in the comments. It helps other creators find answers faster too.